Shalom, everybody, and welcome back after a long recess for insights in the Parsha of the week, this week, Parshat Tazria and Metzora. Before we get into insights from Rebbe Nachman, we have to explain the concepts from the Parsha, which are a bit intricate in details, but when we get it clear, we can understand and appreciate better the insights from Rebbe Nachman, based on Rebbe Nachman's teachings. The Parshat Tazria talks about the laws which don't apply technically today. They applied when there was a temple, the Beit HaMikdash, or the tabernacle, the Mishkan, regarding a lady who gives birth to a child. Okay, a Jewish mother gives birth to a boy, there are certain laws. To a girl, there's different laws. What are the difference? If now a woman gives birth to a boy, so after the birth, she has to count 7 days, like a regular woman who has menstruation, Nida, also has to count 7 clean days. So she has to count 7 days that are clean. If the first initial 7 days are clean, fine. She has to then count another 33 days. So 33 days plus these initial 7 days after giving birth. And obviously on the 8th day is the Brit Milah of the child. It's a boy, fine, beautiful, Baruch Hashem, Mazel Tov. But there's a 40-day wait. The 40-day wait is in order for her to eat, for the mother to be able to eat specific sacrifices in the category of Kodesh, holy, in the temple. Until those 40 days, even though she counted 7 clean days, she's pure. She even maybe went to the mikveh and she technically can still be with her husband, etc. in the next 33 days. And even, this doesn't apply today though, halacha doesn't say this today, it applies in time between dash. Even if she would see blood or spotting in those 33 days, they're called Dmei Tohar, blood of purity. They're not considered impure. But that was specifically in the time of the temple. We have to reiterate that so people shouldn't learn that for today. Chas v'shalom. So 40 days in total, she had to, with these conditions. Then on the 40th day, she brings a specific sacrifice, korban olah, korban chatat, and then she's allowed to eat from the sacrifices. Until 40 days, she can't eat from the sacrifices. She can be with her husband after day 7 of counting clean days, technically, after the 7 days, and then she's within the 33 days, she is limited into what she can do in holy devotions connected to the Beit HaMikdash, specifically eating of the holy sacrifices. If she gives birth to a girl, again, this does not apply today, it applies time to the Beit HaMikdash, but we try to get out the practical significance for today. If she gives birth to a girl, everything is doubled. Instead of 7 days that she has to wait for like a nida, like a menstrual lady, she has to wait 14 days. 14 days. Even if she counted 7 days, they're clean, she has to wait 14 days, doubled. Okay? Plus 66 days. Instead of 33, 66 days, totaling 80. And on the 80th day, after giving birth to a girl, okay? So then she offers her sacrifices also then, and then she can eat, like we said by the boy, she can eat of the korbanot, okay? This is a very, it's weird. It's like, what's going on? We believe in the Torah, we believe absolute faith, but where we have some permission to try to understand, to gain practical application, we're allowed to, B'ezrat Hashem. What's going on here? What's this 40? What's this 80? Well, what's going on? Okay? So the Kabbalah teaches that the entrance to a woman's womb, rechem, is like 2 doors, 2 dlatot. And the word for a door in Hebrew is dalet, which is similar to the letter dalet. So they say that the woman's womb, when closed, when she gets impregnated, so becomes like a door closed with 2 dlatot. So we take a dalet upside down and a dalet right side up and put them together. They make the letter mem, the final mem. Okay, the mem is made from the 2 dlatot because they say that a woman, in the wonders of pregnancy are just unbelievable. How the Midrash and the Gemara and the Zohar goes into what's actually happening in birth. It's phenomenal. It's like the doors. There's several levels of doors, and they open up for the birth to take place. Okay, now for when bringing a Jewish child into the world, which is considered the pinnacle of creation. The whole goal of creation, the Midrash says, was for the sake of the Jewish souls, with the hope of those who become tzaddikim, with the intent of Jewish souls, which will be tzaddikim. In fact, every Jew is called a tzaddik. V'amech kulam tzaddikim, the verse reads. Your nation, they're all tzaddikim. There's just levels. Obviously, there's the higher tzaddik, the higher level. There's levels. But every Jew, Rebbe Nachman teaches, just a minimal Jew, just for the sake that he has a circumcision, he's already called a tzaddik, believe it or not. There's good points in everybody, Bezrat Hashem. But going back, all of creation was for the sake of the Jewish people. That's why you see in the world there's so much tumult against us, against the Jewish people. Ma akhpat lachem, what do you guys care? Live your life, enjoy your food, enjoy your beer, enjoy everything, leave us alone. No, everything's around us. We're the center of the creation. The Jewish people are the center of the universe. That's why there's so much talk about us and so much wars and opposition and difficulties and strifes and everything, because this is what really matters. This is the real deal. The Jewish people, okay? So, with that in mind, when there's conception, when a husband and wife come together to bring forth a Jewish soul, this is considered the pinnacle of creation. The pinnacle of creation is this act of bringing a child into the world, okay? So the woman with her womb has these two dalits that make the letter mem, which has the gematria of 40. And she, the woman, because of her womb faculty, her ability to contain a child within her, to house and to nurture and to actually form inside of her a child, so she corresponds to the 40 levels of bina, arba'im shari bina, of understanding. Because the woman, not just giving the physical nurturing, she's going to give the child a basis of bina, of understanding when born. So on her part, she has, in her womb, she has the idea of 40, the two dalits that make two doors, forming the letter mem, which is gematria 40. The man who provides the seed, the drop, the initial drop, even though the woman has an egg, but it's the man who has the drop of the seed. And the seed is made up of, like Rebbe Nachman teaches, quoting the Zohar, 5 chasadim and 5 gvurot. These are the two fives that make up 10. The 5 of kindnesses and 5 judgments, which are balanced together. That's why there's 5 and 5. These 10, which are in the drop of the seed that will, B'ezrat Hashem, produce the child, is rooted in the 10 commandments, the 10 sfirot, the 10 utterances of creation. That's why the seed of a Jewish man is so important, so holy, and it requires the proper way to be released. And why sexual blemishes is so severe, because it's basically blemishing the root of creation. That's how serious it is. But yet, when a Jewish man and a woman come together, okay, to bring forth a child, the man producing the seed, which is the 10, his 10 in the drop, the woman with her womb, with the doors of the womb, which is 40, 40 plus 10 is 50. What's the idea? 50, as we've seen many times in Rebbe Nachman's teachings and in the Kabbalah, it corresponds to the Keter. The Keter in the Kabbalah, the crown, is basically the gateway to the infinite light. When producing a child, the 40 of the wife, the mother, and the 10 of the father come together in order to bring forth a child who will, yes, have potential accessibility to the infinite light, which is beyond the creation. The goal of creation is to reconnect to this light that Hashem had initially before the creation was just Hashem's infinite light. And yet in the creation, Hashem made a setup that man, through his deeds, can reconnect to the infinite light. So when forming a man, a person, a child, who has that potential to reconnect to infinite light, the 10 in the man's seed and the 40 in the woman's womb formation, the doors of the womb, together make that 50 in order to bring forth a Jewish child into the world. That's how it's so big and so important. It's such a holy thing. It's such a big thing, okay? So now, with that said, the child born, if it's a boy, fine. He has his 8 days. He has to go through 8 days, and then he has the circumcision that allows him to enter the world. However, his mother, because of her experience And for the sake of future nurturing the child, she has to go through a 40-day period again. What's like the 40-day corresponding to her womb, which has the number 40, like we said, the two dalits, two doors that make the 40, the mem, which is the opening of her womb, and the child being born is released from that 40 of hers. She has to sit 40 days in a type of waiting. The pasuk says, let's take a look in the verse, Parshat Tazria, Vayikra, chapter 12, okay? It says in verse number 4, and this is like in the birth of a boy, Ushloshim yom, ushloshet yamim, teshev bidmei tahora, and for 30 days and 3 days, she shall sit in the blood of purity. Okay? Bechol kodesh lo tiga. Anything holy, which is truma and other kadashim of the sacrifice of the temple, she's not allowed to touch. Ve'ala mikdash lo tavo. And she's not allowed to enter the temple while she's in this state. Ad melot yemei tahara, until her days of purity end, 40 days. So Rashi says, teshev means to wait. She's waiting. Waiting for two things. Number one, she's in a status of waiting that she can be with her husband for 33 days. Even if she sees blood, it's disregarded in those 33 days. It's considered fixed. After the 7 initial days that she kept clean, she now has a fixed status like that. Teshev also means she's waiting. She's in a waiting period to reach day number 40 so that she can once again eat from the sacrifices. Why is this needed? Like Rebbe Nachman teaches in lesson 24, that in order to experience the infinite light of the Keter, you need a bounce back. You need the bounce back. So the woman who, in creating the child, she gave in, what's the word in English? She benefited for the formation of the child, her 40, in other words, her rechem, her womb, which has at its door the two dalits, which make the letter mem, which is gematria 40. So now, that's for the actual activation of the light of the child for potential to reach the Keter. But Rebbe Nachman teaches in lesson 24, in order to receive that light, you need to be bounced back. And the bounce back, Keter, is similar to the word from the book of Eov, Katar. Elihu said to Eov, Katar li ze'er v'achaveka. Wait, the word Katar in Aramaic is rooted in the same letters as Keter. Katar means he said to him, wait for me a little, and I'll answer you better arguments to convince you not to doubt Hashem and not to be angry at Hashem for what he did to you, Eov. That's what Elihu said to Eov. So the wording is Katar. Katar, Rebbe Nachman teaches there, is from Lashon Hamtana, to wait. You got to wait. So the mother, she's waiting 40 days. Why is she waiting 40 days? In order now, but the wait, which means she's refrained, she can't go to the temple, she can't partake of the sacrifices, she's in a waiting period in order to build vessels to receive there the infinite light. Because like Rebbe Nachman teaches, when does a person receive the light he needs in life? Specifically in the setbacks, specifically when he's pushed back, specifically when he's waiting, that's when he receives the light. In the context of the mother, eating of the korbanot, we should mention this point. When there was a Beit HaMikdash, when Jewish people partook from the sacrifices and they had to be in a high level and status of purity to eat from them, basically eating from sacrifices is enabling people while in this world to taste the divine light of a world beyond us, the infinite light. That was the whole idea of the Beit HaMikdash and the korbanot. Eating the korbanot was that a person should taste a level of light beyond their level in order for them to have strength to face the daily challenges of life again. Okay, that was the idea of the korbanot. We don't have that today. We have no temple. So we have to do our best that our prayers that we do every day are making up for that. That's the best we can do. Bezat Hashem. Okay? So by the case of a woman, since it's her job, mainly, more than the husband, to nurture and raise the child with her 40 gates of Bina, which now she put in her input in the formation of the child, and now for raising the child, she needs that ability to have that. So she has to, specifically the mother, not the child. The child is a baby, of course. But the mother, as opposed to the husband, she has to have that 40-day waiting period in order to create vessels for the 40 gates of Bina that were her input in the formation of the child, with the 10 of the husband making the 50. In other words, her part in connecting to the Keter when unifying to make conception of a child, which by husband and wife, you should know this is an amazing idea. But if a husband and wife do the mitzvah properly with the proper holiness, they can experience a light beyond love, a light which is far beyond anything. It's something way beyond. Why? Where's that light coming from? That is the infinite light, which comes at the time of conception. That's why it's such a big thing. It's not all these rules and regulations of being my wife, like being like this and that, and all limitations. No, it's in order to bring this child to the world. You're going to experience such a bliss if you have that opportunity. That's what it's, that the potential is there to experience infinite light, because that's what's happening now. The wife's 40, the man's 10, are now activating the Keter. It's a big time. It's a big time at time of conception. All right? So the woman, she has to have those 40 days as like a bounce back to then be able to afterwards eat from the Kodashim, and thus have a balance of light and simcha in her life, that she can properly nurture the child with her 40 gates of Bina. Now what we're left with, why is it doubled for a girl? Why is everything doubled to get to 80? 14, 66 to get to 80. What's 80? So the commentary says something absolutely amazing. It's not a punishment. It's just that a baby girl, when she's born, she also has a womb. She also has a part of her body which can house again the 40 gates of Bina for a child. It's a big thing. So they say, the commentaries, the 80 days that a woman keeps for a daughter is 40 for the girl, the baby girl herself, and 40 for her womb. Even though she's a baby, but her womb still is there in potential, it has to grow. That also requires that the mother be able to nurture the girl, that she too can eventually become a mother, and also be nurturing with the 40 gates of Bina that she has in her womb also. So the first 40 for a girl is for the girl herself, and the second 40 is for her womb, believe it or not. So this, in a nutshell, is a perspective of what's going on in the Parsha. What we learn out of this is the immense opportunity and the merit and opportunity of reproduction, of bringing in Jewish children into the world, what it does, and how it's such a big thing to be happy in doing this mitzvah, because husband and wife at that time are accessing the infinite light, the Keter. It's a flash. The flash takes place at the time of conception, B'ezrat Hashem. On a physical level, it's experienced by physical pleasure, etc. But at its root, it's basically accessing the infinite light. And from here we learn how it's so important. Rebbe Nachman writes in one place beautifully, he says that someone, God forbid, who blemished the covenant, what can he do to rectify it? So he says that one of the greatest rectifications, of course, you have to fix the past, but now to fix from now onwards, he says, is by bringing in Jewish children. A man, God forbid, wasted his seed, chas v'shalom. What can he do to fix it? Bring in Jewish children to the world. Bring in Jewish children. The act itself is the key for its rectification. Because again, this is such a big thing. You're reliving the idea of the infinite light in its experience in the world. The 50 is being activated, the 40 of the woman, and the 10 of the man in his seed. And this is reactivating access to the Keter. It's such a big thing, and it's an opportunity, and it's a zchut, it's a merit. And when a person at least yearns and davens for this to be done as best as possible, as good as possible, he gives bigger chances of his children being able to actually, in actuality, perceive the infinite light in their life, thus drawing what Rebbe Nachman calls simcha yetera, extra excess simcha. Our main weapon now, more than anything else now, to bring Mashiach, for all the hatred in the world and all the bad feelings which are the evil is attempting to make us feel bad, our main weapon back is simcha. To have extra simcha on the merit of being a Jew, on the merit of having a kippah, on putting on tefillin, on keeping Shabbat, on saying brachot. This is our greatest joy, and this itself is our weapon to get out of exile, because it's through this simcha that we can reconnect to the infinite like Bezrat Hashem. Shabbat Shalom. Hope all ideas were clear, and all the best.